The Central Florida Christian Chamber and Triangle Media welcome you to the Builders Podcast, spotlighting Christian business leaders and their stories of faith, leadership, and success. Here's your host, Suzanne Lynn.
Hi, welcome to the Builders Podcast. I'm Suzanne Lynn with Krystal Parker and a very special guest we are going to introduce as the kickoff to the Professional Development Series. Krystal, hello.
Hi, hello, and thank you so much for having me. I am just honored and excited to introduce to everyone at the Central Florida Christian Chamber of Commerce, Arnold Smalley with Small World Solution. And I actually had the privilege of attending one of his workshops. And I said, could you please come and just share a little bit of this with the Christian Chamber and help us kick off a brand new professional development series that we're going to be doing every single month to help our members grow more so they can do more and share more and make a bigger difference for the kingdom of God. We believe at the Christian Chamber that we build kingdom, we build business, and we build community through education, experience, and exposure. And let me tell you, you're in for a treat with this gentleman. So I don't know if there's anything else I need to say. I would love for you to introduce yourself and just tell the community about yourself and what you plan to share.
Okay. Well, first of all, my official name is Arnold Smalley. My nickname is Arnold Smalls. I retired from the government, Department of Justice, after serving 25 years as a government special agent, where I specialize in the reduction of violent crime all across America. In 2018, I started my own business called Small World Solutions. We're a consulting firm that provides interactive trainings to help improve the workplace environment. We specialize now in the reduction of stress and conflict, so organizations can increase in productivity, increase in their team cohesion, and we boost employee morale.
I think I just heard all the volumes getting turned up when you started talking about taking away stress and, friction in the workplace, because the things that we learn for that, we can bring home too, right? We're allowed to use those skills for family. Yeah. That's exciting because, strife in the workplace, that takes away a lot of hours of actual production, doesn't it, Arnell?
Oh, yes, it does. And if you could put amount on the amount of lost hours at work, the high increase in health care costs because of the stress and people having to get treatments for that, and just the loss of productivity because people are spending too much time arguing and fighting or just disagreeing and not learning how to communicate with our communication skills that we'll teach, just to help to reduce all those levels of stress and conflict.
Wow. Yeah, it's really interesting because one of the things, Suzanne and Arnell, this is a really neat story that happened the other day when I was on the phone with Arnell. And we were talking and preparing for his time at the chamber. And I was walking on the trail and I came across a couple and they were standing by a bicycle, like an abandoned child's bicycle. and so they stopped me and they said, have you seen the child that belongs to this bicycle? And I said, no, I haven't. She says, we're on the phone with the police. We're going to try to find out where this is. And as I was walking, I told Arnell, I said, it's interesting because when I came across the child's bicycle, my instant thought was, the kid must have got tired, jumped on his parents' bike and moved on. And that is exactly, Arnell, could you just share what you said about what you're going to be talking about at the chamber, just from that little instance?
Okay, basically the course that I'm going to present at the chamber will be cultural competence, basically building our own cultural competence, learning our own biases. And basically the prime example of that was Krystal. When she's seen that, she automatically goes into her past and her experiences, which led her to believe this, or led her to conceive, this is what I picture this as. It's based on everything that she's experienced, everything that she's known in her life. And so that has basically made her make judgments in that format. I like one of the things I use in our classes is like boarding an airplane. You have 1.2 seconds to make a decision on whether or not you're going to sit in that seat. Let's say if you're flying with Southwest Airlines, where you actually get to pick your own seat, you're walking down that aisle and you look and you say, oh, I'm not going to sit there because, and you move on to the next one. Oh, I'm not going to sit there because, and you move on to the next one. I'm not going to sit there because you fill in the blank. And then we use the example of two females are boarding the plane back to back. The first female looks down and sees a seat between two gentlemen. And she says, oh, I'm definitely not going to sit there. And she passes it by. The next person comes up and says, oh my God, that's a great seat. And she jumps down in that seat. What's the difference between those two women?
Right.
You know, one says it's not a good seat and one thinks it is a great seat. Now, the first person, you can imagine that, okay, she doesn't feel comfortable sitting between two guys. Maybe that could be the case. Or maybe it could be that she doesn't feel safe, or she doesn't, or she thinks that, you know, they're going to be trying to hit on her, or this, that, and the other. What is that based on? It's based on her past experiences.
I would definitely sit there if that was the case. Oh, I'd be like, I'd be on my cell phone to my husband. Guess what? Guess what just happened? And tell the kids. So, you know, that makes so much sense because we do pull from our experiences. And can we, since it's going to be prior to the election, can I just kind of go there real quick? Because as I know that we're not standing side by side our coworkers, but it is causing, I mean, my sister and I, serious relationship issues where I've had to say to her, I love you and care for you more than I love and care about Trump and Biden. So I choose to not go there. How, when the strife, that's like low hanging fruit for strife. I mean, you know, like who does more work and who got the credit with this election? Like this is what everybody's, could you just give us some pointers of how to at least respect each other through this?
Sure can. I don't want to teach my whole class prior to the presentation. However, but basically it boils down to this. The more I know about you, the more comfortable I'll feel around you and the better communication we will have together because I know a little bit more about you. So caring is a roadmap to cultural competency. To be culturally competent, you don't have to be an expert in every single culture. All you have to be is willing to understand that there are differences, have a willingness to want to learn those differences, or if you don't want to learn it, just be willing to accept that there are many ways of getting through this thing we call life. And that's how you become culturally competent.
That's amazing. When I first went to his workshop, I walked in kind of feeling like, well, I am a professor of cultural diversity and management at a university. So I know I'm the least biased person out there. Like I've got all these experiences and I understand inherent and acquired diversity and all this. And the minute I sat down in this class, Arnell had such a way of challenging my implicit bias and really examining things through scenarios and different things that he's going to do in this workshop that will really challenge people to take a very non-judgmental and a true look of the reflection of what's inside. And a lot of that, believe it or not, is based off of those experiences that we were talking about. So Arnell, I guess the question that I have then is if everybody's approaching life with different experiences and different eyes, and then everybody's in the workforce, you've got a team you're trying to lead, you're trying to manage these projects and these people. And then we've got sisters fighting about the election, and we've got people upset about things that are happening in the news. And we've got wear the mask, don't wear the mask. And we've got just a swarm of, I mean, in this world right now, there's so many challenges. So how do you put people at ease and still challenge them to grow through a workshop like you're going to put on for the chamber?
Well, first and foremost, you can't change everyone. And I get satisfied when I hear, one person leave my class saying, oh my God, you really opened my eyes to something different. I never would have experienced it this way until I've been in your class. And I haven't done a class yet where I've gotten that kind of reaction from at least somebody. And it only takes, you change one person and hopefully they can change someone else and they can open the eyes to someone else. And hopefully, like in Krystal's class, luckily I got that same response from just about every single person that participated. So So that's the movement forward. And, like I said, I don't want to give too much of my class away, but we also have classes on human behavior styles, which teaches people how to relate to other people and speak their language. Now, how many times, and I coach sports, and I use an example there is when you're coaching sports, you have umpteen number of people on your team or your squad. I coach golf. As for instance, I coach the girls golf team. I coach the girls basketball team in college. And every single person has their own personality style. They have their own behavior style. And if you don't know how to tap into that person's behavior style, and so many coaches try to use that one format, you're going to do it my way and this is the way, or you're going to take the highway. And what they'll find is they can't relate to a lot of people like that. Learning people's behavior styles allows you to address people. You can address the whole crowd, but talk to people individually by just changing some of the words that you use. And those are some of the things that we do to help management, help co-workers deal with co-workers, help build communication skills between managers and co-workers and co-workers and co-workers and all kinds of management styles and stuff like that. So those are some things that we like to implement in our presentations.
We hear a lot about emotional wisdom and relational wisdom, kind of honing in, narrowing down. But I think if we can see things from somebody else's angle, like I often think about, do you remember All in the Family with Archie Bunker and
Oh,
Edith?
yes.
I remember seeing many years ago that somebody said if Archie really wanted to communicate with Edith, if he truly did, if his goal wasn't just to communicate, to keep communication separate, to just keep calling her dingbat, he would have learned how to speak dingbat. And that spoke to me so much. Like sometimes we just dig our heels in the ground and we go, no, you've got to see it my way. What's most important to me has to be most important to you. And
right. And just using that example alone, Archie, he's definitely a D personality style. So he's more direct. He's more, straightforward, and he's going to give you exactly what it is, what's on his mind. He's going to give you that. And she is that S. So they're on total, complete opposite spectrums, where she's the people person and she wants to know how you feel, and she wants to accommodate, your feelings, and she wants to just slow down, where he's want to be let's just hurry up and get this done. Let's give me direct, just give me the nuts and bolts of it, and that's all I need. And it's those two two styles, conflicting styles. And like you said, if he just learned how to talk S, or if she learned how to become more D, which is pretty hard for an S to become a D, but that's how they communicate. They got to meet somewhere in the middle. And our whole concept is finding middle ground, finding a middle ground to build a foundation on. And then you can build any type of relationships, improve any kind of police community relations. You can do anything you want once you find that common ground. And it's so easy to find. And I just hope point people in that direction. All right, look, everybody wants the same for their kids. I mean, whether you're what nationality, what ethnicity, what race, whatever, you want the same for your kids. You want what's best for your kids. Isn't that true? We all want what's best for our kids. So let's start there. And then that's a common ground. Let's get that and use that as a foundation, and then let's build upon that and find out what else we have in common, and then we build upon that. So that's what our whole goal and our concept is for Small World Solutions.
Well, you know that this podcast is probably going to reach in the upwards of 1 million to 2 million people and viewers. So
that's all.
The accountability here is on, okay? And so
I didn't know that. I didn't know we were going to reach that many people.
Thank you, Jesus. And so here's the question, because this is going to hold you accountable, because somebody's going to be watching this that knows you. So you teach the class. Have you ever had to learn the hard way?
Oh, every class. Building your cultural competency, you got to take it in the form of riding a bicycle. And if you stop pedaling on that bicycle, what's going to happen? And you don't ground yourself, you're going to fall off that bike. And believe you me, I'm a facilitator of cultural competency, diversity and inclusion, and I fall off the bike all the time. But me knowing that hey, people do view things differently. People do see things differently. People have a different way of going about the world. I learned to get back on that bike and to start pedaling again. So, and everybody's going to do that. Everybody's going to fall off the bike. And like I said, I've fallen off several times in class. And we'll have a thing for that that says we call that an ouch moment or a ow moment. And if that happens, somebody just stands up and says ow, and then explain why that is a ow to them. And we keep moving on. And that's where you learn. You'll learn a little bit something about different people and different ways they have of viewing things.
Man, definitely cannot wait for this. And Krystal, you were saying this is just the beginning of the diversity, the professional development series, right?
Absolutely. We believe that we want people to grow as leaders. And by doing that, we want to bring in incredible people just like Arnell that are going to be able to give insight and wisdom as they grow as leaders and grow their businesses. And from a biblical perspective, what I love about Arnell that we haven't even touched on is just his heart for God and his love for the Lord and his service to others that he does. And he's very humble, and he probably wouldn't get into it too much. But this is the type of character from someone we want to learn from and we want to grow from. And yeah, this is just the tip of the iceberg, but this is a hybrid event. And what I love about being a hybrid event is that it allows us an opportunity to be in person for those that want to attend in person in a classroom setting, but also virtually as well. So it doesn't have to just stop in the boundary of the geography of Central Florida. It can go beyond. It is a members only event. However, non-members can still access. They just have to pay a little bit, which makes it more incentive to become a member of the Central Florida.
Just sign up.
Yeah. So this is something that you can expect. I've told Arnell, hey, just take it easy, bud. It's no pressure at all. It's only the first one.
Not at all. Not at all.
Expectation is just
for the whole series, right? Arnell, what Krystal was talking about, though, I would love to dive in because you have such a sweet spirit, and I know that that's your faith. I know that's just the Holy Spirit. That's just you're soft, but you're tough. Like you've got this great balance to you. How does your faith play into what you do, and has it changed? Has it changed you from before you were saved, or before you knew Christ so well?
That's an interesting question because. Let's put it this way. My mom is a pastor. My mom's brother is a pastor. Her other brother is a pastor. And then both of their wives are pastors. So you can kind of imagine how I grew up. And that they're a non-denominational group. And so I grew up going to church on Sundays and knowing that Sundays is church day. This is our church day and yada, yada, yada. So just recently I got married and my wife is Seventh-day Adventist. So wow. When we started dating, she said, we got to go to church. Would you like to go to church with me? And I said, yeah. And it was on Saturday. And I was like, this is a little bit strange. But, I've learned to adapt to the Seventh-day Adventist ways. And now my religion is Seventh-day Adventist. I'm an SDA at Patmos Chapel here in Apopka, Florida. Our pastor is Pastor Doggett has taken me under his wing and had showed me some new ways. And now we respect every commandment, including the fourth, where we keep our Sabbath day holy. But, like I said, he's taken me under his wing. But then again, he's also tapped into some of my skills and said, we need you to be the community director for our church. And so now I'm conducting the food drives where we served last Thursday. We served over 2,600 people. We served 670 something families. We do community projects. We're working on the project right now called the Dora Project, where we're reaching out and we're helping a family right outside of our church backyard almost, and a family of, I don't want to put all their information on the street, so I'm just going to say there's a big family living in a small house, and their kitchen had a problem with their kitchen. Water leak and destroyed everything. So we're going in there and we're remodeling their whole kitchen area for them. Wow. So that's one of the projects we're currently working on. Matter of fact, as soon as I get off this call, I'm headed to go tearing down some walls.
And you know what's great about being SDA is that you can go to Chick-fil-A after church. So I'm just a little jealous.
No, actually, we can't. We can't. We
Why?
can't go. We can't go to on Sabbath. We can't go to a restaurant or have anybody work for us because we got to keep ourselves holy and then treat everybody. So today is Sabbath day is a day of rest. We enjoy nature.
Okay.
We enjoy communion with ourselves. We have potlucks that we cook. Oh, we have potlucks that we cook on Fridays before sundown, and then we keep it warm and we take it to a family's house. This is before COVID, and then we all celebrate together, eating, having a potluck Sabbath dinner, and we rejoice. And when sun goes down, we close it out in prayer, and then we're back to our normal lives.
That's cool.
But yeah,
That's
so we
pretty
can't really go to Chick-fil-A, but
I tried. That's
Yeah,
all I
Yeah.
can
you
do.
tried.
I
but
can throw it out.
we do respect Chick-fil-A for actually keeping a day holy.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they didn't keep it wasn't Saturday their Sabbath, but they keep it a day holy. So we do respect that as well.
Mhm.
And that's
Wonderful.
the word. I think that sums up everything. Respect.
Yeah. Oh
Respect.
yes.
Woo.
Respect
Yeah.
each other. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
what you're doing or what you think. Just respect each other.
Yes.
Respect.
And if I could, what I won't give in this class will be the last little tidbit I'd like to give is just what you just said. We call it the most essential thing in life. The most essential thing. What in life can you not live without? Go ahead and give me one.
Well, I was going to say pizza, but I just feel like that's wrong. I'll go with respect. I don't know.
Krystal, you've been in my class, so you might have heard this one. What is one thing you can't live? What is the most essential thing you need to survive? What is the
Air.
air?
Air?
Exactly.
I was a good
Oxygen.
student.
You were
Yes.
good.
Yes, you were in my class, so you remember that. A lot of people usually say food. A lot of people usually say water. But if I took away your food, I took away your water right now, you could still live. Tomorrow, if I checked on you, you'd still be alive. But if I took away your air, there's no coming back from that. Once you lose that, that is the most essential thing that you have in life. And our class, one of the things that I teach in one of our classes, is called raw oxygen. And the R stands for respect. The A stands for ask and don't tell. The W stands for tell them why. Give them a reason why you're asking. The O, it's raw O2, and the O stands for options. A person wants options when they want to do things. And the 2 stands for give them a second chance. Everybody's going to make a mistake. Give them a second chance. So if you can live by that motto alone, just the raw oxygen, you're going to be all right. You're going to get through this thing we call life.
Wow. Can you see? I mean, everybody's just going to fall in love with the message, the ability to improve their life and those around them. And I'm so proud to know you. And I'm so excited to introduce you to the Christian Chamber as our very first professional development speaker.
Oh, thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Let's talk about how people can get a hold of you.
Okay. Well, my call to action is, hey, if you have a business, if you have an organization, if you have a municipality or even an educational institution, and if you have needs, Small World can be the solution to all your training needs. Our phone number is, you can reach us by phone at 754-971-7007. And you know how I had to stick that in there. Our email is Small World Solutions 2018, the year we started, Small World Solutions 2018 at gmail.com. And then our website is www.smallworldsolutions.net. Somebody beat me to the .com. So it's smallworldsolutions.net.
Very good. And you're right in Apopka.
Yes, and I am here in Apopka. The business was, we formatted the business in Fort Lauderdale, West Pembroke Pine area. However, right after we got married, my wife took a job up here in the Orlando area. So we recently moved to Apopka, and now I'm trying to lay some groundwork to get things back up and running here in the Apopka area.
I love it. Krystal, you want to close us out talking about the professional development series and
Yes.
the information?
Yes. Don't miss it. You've got to be there. Our very first professional development series is on September the 29th. We're calling it a lunch and learn. So you can join virtually if you just have that hour for your lunch hour and eat a little and grow personally, professionally, and even spiritually. We pray before our meetings and after, and regardless if we're doing professional development or not, there's going to be some prayer there as well. And so right at the noon hour, if you want to join us in person, check out our events page on www.cfchristianchamber.com. See, we got the .com, Arno. And it's on our events page. We have the calendar there. Registration will be required. However, it's not open just yet. Once it's open, we'll have that available for you to register so that you can be in the room or in the room virtually. Either way, it's going to be a great experience, a great opportunity to meet and build relationships and partnerships with a purpose and grow more so you can share more and do more for the kingdom.
I love it. Arnold Smalley, Small World Solutions, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Krystal Parker, have a great day. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Builders Podcast.
This has been the Builders Podcast, presented by the Central Florida Christian Chamber and produced by Triangle Media. If you're interested in having a program like this for your business, contact Suzanne Lynn at trianglemedia.biz.